So welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. And today I'm sitting in a breeze in Africa where am I? Zambia. That's where I am, Zambia. And I want to do a podcast today on change your mindset and looking at different people's perspective on the same situation. Because actually it's something that is fascinating, especially having Sergio in my life, obviously, who has a younger mentality, a more bright outlook in life than most men that we hang out with. You know, I always say, when people say, what is it that sort of attracted you to Sergio? It's his naivety. It's the fact life hasn't had time to bite him in the arse in any way. So he has this amazing outlook, fresh outlook at life where, you know, maybe you see rain and he sees, you know, he wants to go outside and dance in it, right? And, or, you know, we'll be traveling and he'll look outside the window and see it's raining and I'll be like, oh no, what are we going to do? And he's like, let's go swim or let's go this. And actually he's changed my whole perspective on life like that. And it was weird because we're in Africa now. We came to South Africa and we were going to a friend's birthday party. And actually it was, again, there was 140 people going and I was working. We have been traveling a lot. And I kind of was like, I don't think I can get on another plane. I've been to Africa twice this year already. And I just don't think I can get on another plane and go and do this again. As much as I thought I was meant to be working that weekend, to be honest. And my friend was the guy that actually we got engaged with whilst going up the Himalayas. And he's one of the world's greatest explorers. He's in the Guinness Book of Records and all of this. And he has this very, very positive outlook in life. Anyway, so I said I'd get back about the party. Our diary filled up. And obviously life gets so fast you forget. And then my girlfriend in New York texts me and goes, are you going to this party? And I'm like, oh my God, I completely forgot to get back. The job that I had coming up didn't happen. So I actually could go. And she's like, oh, you know, we really should go. It'll be such an experience. And there's me going, well, I have to leave the house. You know, I've been to Africa 3 times this year, spoiled as I am, I know. And, you know, I'd rather stay home. I need to be at home. I've got work to do. And then she completely changed my perspective. She's like, this is once in a lifetime. There'll be 140 interesting people that you get to meet. And I've got quite insular doing the TV show and everything. I've got a lot more insular than I was. I think because I've had so many people over the last few years just try and fuck me every which way, or betray me in some way, you know. People take knowledge as power and they use things against you, you know, twist things. I think I'm just becoming much more sort of reserved in my bubble, stick to my family, stick to my husband and my key, you know, friends. And that's enough for me. And so the idea of going away and meeting 140 people I didn't know, or I didn't know if I knew, because I can't bear people that call up a party and go, who's going? Especially when there's that many people, because what are you going to do? Like list off 140 fucking people? Anyway, I knew that he'd have like amazing people going, like by amazing, like very interesting people, right? So, you know, he does these trips of bring everybody together. And I was like, okay. And she's one of my best girlfriends since my boys were born. So, you know, I think we met on a private jet going to Barbados. That's how we met. How spoiled are we? For my baby shower. Anyway, we've been best friends ever since. We're completely different. And I absolutely fucking love this woman. And I don't think we've ever had a bad word. So she was like, let's go. And I was like, okay, fine. We'll go. And we get on the plane and we land. And let me tell you, from the moment we landed, we were transported into something that was just quite incredible. We all had villas. Some people had tents. And we ended up in a villa that he had obviously put together, a group of people that we had met We were our group, and then we had another couple who I had actually met at an event in Dubai. I hadn't really spoken to them that much, saw each other at lunches and things like this, but really didn't get to know. And another guy, and who we kind of knew from Dubai too. And it was 4 whole days of experiences. And by the end of it, I really miss those people. Like, I miss waking up with them. We just had one of the best times ever. So it was like, you could dip in, you could dip out. Everybody came with a good attitude. Everyone kind of went on this group chat. I met such incredibly interesting people. That some of them will be friends for life. Fascinating. I mean, I can't even tell you the level because it will give away who the people it is, and I don't want to do that. But like, it was things like, one guy, I was telling how I met Johan and I climbed the Himalayas, and I was so impressed with myself for doing that. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, I bought a ticket to space." I was like, "Okay." Another guy was like, the head of owns Coca-Cola in Brazil, like fucking nuts. And you know how I always said to you, like, you need to be the least clever person in that room. I was probably the least clever person in that room, for sure. But I really enjoyed that room. It was wonderful. And I've met people that I will, cherish for a very long time, for all different reasons. People from LA. And we're all chit-chatting every day since, because everyone kind of misses each other. And we said that we would do this every year. But this is a typical example of change your mindset, change your life. Why? Just because I'm going into this whole party thing, it's not about the party. But what I'm saying is, in my head, it was like, oh, I've got to get on a plane. I meant, it's the first time in a long time that Sergio and I haven't been working. And, we just got home. We did a whole load of shoots. I just shot Architectural Digest. My house is up for an award in Dubai. Like, I'm starting to renovate my new apartment. Like, I'm busy. Bali, all of these things. And that take it's almost, 10 days now we're out. We're going to the Seychelles. Then we're going to Shiva Som. Like, we have a lot of travel coming up. Like, do I need this? No. But did this enrich my life in a way that I will never get this opportunity again? There's no fucking way he's doing that again. Like, 4 days of parties with getting, there was, 140 people from 136 different countries. Like, nuts. How powerful is that to be able to put that together? And, that's testament to him. But, and the love and the everything else and the people that we met and the giggles that we're having. I think we belly laughed every day in our villa, belly laughed. And, by the end of it, having not known them, like, we were running into each other's bedrooms in the middle of the night, playing pranks on each other. Like, that level of comfort with people that we just met, it was brilliant. And that gives you youth, that gives you fun. It gives you, everyone just came with a good heart. And, no one knew where we were going. No one knew the resort. They did the most spectacular job. We were looked after in an incredible way. And then, that all ended and you're kind of on a down, and we were meant to go, we're now in Zambia, so we decided to go on to another resort. And I think we're tired, I miss my kids, I miss my house. And, then you get into that attitude of like, I don't know, you just want to go home. You just want to go home. You've got it in your head. And nothing's as good as the last place, or nothing's perfect. But at the end of the day, we're in natural beauty. And I think I completely forget that. Obviously in Africa, there are things you're going to struggle with: Wi-Fi, hot water, things that we take completely for granted all over the world, obviously. And we're spoilt. We're spoilt as fuck. I mean, I'm somebody that works for luxury hotels all the time. So I just completely forget what the real world is. And there's something like, these trips that can completely humble you and make you realize you're not the most important thing in this planet. And actually, Sergio and I were looking at something the other day. I can't remember what it was, but, when we arrived, and we're like, we didn't like one part of our view. And it's so weird because we're 3 days in now, and we're looking at the same view going, this is stunning. And it's amazing how perspective changes everything, and how attitude changes everything. So we're in the same place. Nothing's changed except us and, time. And, since the phones aren't working and we're really struggling, obviously everything we do is online. Everything we do has to be uploaded. Everything we do working with brands, just talking to people. We have been forced to actually put down our fucking phones. And the owners of this resort that we're in now are becoming really good friends. And this is the perfect place to detox. This is the perfect, accidentally on purpose, we're detoxing, right? So it's something that, you have to understand the power of perception that shapes our reality, and how two people can view the same view but have a completely different perspective of it due to their mindset. That's nuts if you really think about it, right? We're both looking at exactly the same view. A minute ago, we're looking at a pile of dirt and, some dead trees. And this morning, we're looking at, that's like a natural mountain. And, we're in the hot season, and the trees are like, preparing to go green again for next season. Here come the animals in our garden. And that's why there are no leaves on the trees, because the animals eat them. And this is where, there's a rhino in my garden because he can come all the way up to the house. And that's why there's no leaves, because they eat them, right? And if there was leaves, then they'd have to put a fence around my house. And now I've changed my perspective completely. How magical is that I'm staying in a house in the middle of nowhere with a rhino that can possibly come and knock on my front door at any moment, right? Which is like fucking crazy. We went out yesterday on a drive and saw 9 rhino up close. Like, we were able to get out of the car. Most places you can't do that. And see the baby. And, now that I'm relaxed, and we're doing it now because it's just me and Sergio now, the party's over and we've gone to another resort. We're doing it in a different way. We're much more relaxed. And in the first few days, we really fought it because, we were honestly not needing another trip or feeling it, right? We were just tired and done. And now we're like, this is actually exactly what we needed. And, exactly what other people need, which is when you're just forced to disconnect from the world. And, your perception shapes your reality daily. And I always say, be careful what you wish for. Always say, be careful what you wish for, because it might just fucking come true. And actually, my last vision board, I was like fairly miserable about it because I was like, nothing happened on that one. And I was about to do another one. I'm actually going to try and do it this afternoon. And then I really thought about it. And actually, I was like, a lot more happened on that one than I actually really thought. I had my Bentley on the front of it, albeit another color. This is way nicer, by the way. And everyone was like, that Bentley, by the way, although it's like, obviously it's a luxury, not hugely needed. I completely get that. But that Bentley has also shaped my reality because it's always been on my vision board, right? It's just something that I wanted to achieve for myself. And I said it one day, if not now, then when, right? I don't even know how old I am. How old am I? 48. I'm 48 now. When am I going to buy myself a ridiculous car? Because it's not the most important thing on my list, but it was something that I've always wished I could have. I think it's sort of like, what that does is remind me that I'm fucking successful. And I think sometimes I forget that I'm fucking successful because I live in a place where everybody kind of successful. And I hang out with people that are more successful than me. So you forget to remind yourself that you're fucking successful. And sometimes people reminding yourself that you're really successful is very important because it gives you this giant kick to continue. And, this year I have really, and I think also, as I said before, we've all gone through shit in our lives. And I think when I gave up on a lot of things, when I was like paying lawyers and, going through the stress of that, or going through divorce and fighting over money, and money became this huge sort of thing that you kind of love it, but you hate it, right? People use money against you the whole time. And I'm somebody that won't have a carrot dangled in front of me and then taken away from me. You want to take my carrot, take it. Go fuck yourself. That's exactly how I feel in life. You want it back, take it. I'm good on my own. So I've got this real fuck you attitude that I kind of had forgotten. I think I'd been fighting for so long, having lost my business back in the UK and all of these things. I think I've been fighting for so long and I'd lived this ridiculous life with the drivers and the big Brabus Range Rover and all of this. And I decided I was going to change my life and be a better person. And, I think I lived that scarcity mentality for such a long time because I was so scared it would go again, right? Because, I had assets, but I, wasn't like drowning in cash in any way. And then I didn't want to go to work because someone else was taking it. I didn't really know my purpose. And now that I've got into the groove, like work is insane. Now that I've changed that scarcity mindset of like being scared not to like take every job that's people past me, right? I really think about it now because I don't need every job. Like jobs are coming. Jobs come every day to us. I open my inbox, there's another job. I can pick and choose and it's pretty fucking wonderful. Right? I also don't have to do something I don't like. I don't have to do something that makes my stomach churn. I also have the right to say no, and I do it all the time, right? And if that makes me a bitch, well, I'm sorry. That's just putting in boundaries, and people, always don't like boundaries, do they? They love to push your buttons. But, the great thing is the car reminded me, because obviously everyone has a house, and I've just finished the house, and I'm always improving that house. I've just done the front, now I'm doing the inside of the garage. But seeing that big arsed white fuck off Bentley parked on my driveway, I still can't really believe it because I bought it and then we've been traveling. Can't really believe it's mine. And when I get in that car, put on the music, and I'm like, off I go. I actually drive myself. I don't even I go to I'm so used to Sergio taking me everywhere because I really didn't like driving the last car. I'm like, this car drives itself, so I can just sit back and relax. But I feel like a queen, the queen that I need to be every day to produce what I produce every day, right? This lifestyle doesn't just happen, and that's what I want to tell people. I think, if you watch Housewives, those girls like to tell all of you that I do absolutely fuck all daily. No, I don't do fuck all, girls. It's just I choose not to share it with you. There's a big difference. And, it's kind of like, I got my mojo back. And that's a big fuck you to everyone that wanted to put me down. And I needed that kick, not to sort of go ha to everybody else, but to go, no, you made that decision. You walked into that showroom and you bought that car on your own. You don't ask anyone's permission. I just did it. And I did it in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, didn't drive it, sat in it, walked out, sat in my old car, and then called the guy and said, I'll buy it. That's literally what happened, right? Because when I make up my decision in life, I've always been the girl that went for it, right? And I believe you need to spend money to make money. And I believe that, if you don't get scared, life gives you everything you need. And everything, I was on that vision board, the Bentley, Bali. We've now bought all the land. We then bought the villa, the valley, sold a residence, designed ours. I mean, I cannot quite believe what we've achieved together at this point. And we don't need anyone. That's what's so wonderful. Our jobs now, instead of hustling and sort of asking other people, kind of like selling things or asking people to be part of your train, we don't need it. people want to be part of our train, which is amazing. It's amazing because we're finally at this place where we can pick and choose, right? I got another call yesterday from another woman asking, it's funny how it's all women. I'm going to end up in a commune of women. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm going to retire with all you fabulous women, asking if she can have, the information on my community in Bali. Because ultimately, we all want the same things. We're all successful. Money brings us a certain amount of kudos, power, enjoyment, freedom, travel, right? I fought all this, and now I'm having a wonderful time. I'm having a wonderful time because I'm with the right man in my life. Now, going back to perspective and everything else, because sometimes Sergio and I he's the one that slaps me around the face. Weirdly, in these situations here, it was funny because I've actually made him sometimes see through my eyes, and then he has meltdowns with me. And then today he woke up and he goes, "Oh my God, you're ruining me. I am seeing life like you see life." And he goes, "And now I'm having meltdowns." He goes, and we both looked at it and burst out laughing because he's absolutely right. I'll see a dead tree trunk and he sees, a life form. And that's the difference in our lives. And the thing is, when people say that Sergio isn't enough or a Sergio isn't enough for them, right? It's because they don't feel they have the power within themselves, right? They need a man to validate them, to lead them, to pay for them. They don't feel they're enough on their own, right? I know I'm enough on my own. I know that I'm absolutely fine on my own. So I know that Sergio's right for me because I don't need Sergio to lead me. I don't need Sergio to do all of these things. Having said that, now I'm completely at his mercy because he does everything for me. So, but as I started, I was a massively independent, happy woman on my own who knows how to do all of these things, which means not that I'm pathetic and can't get anything but a 20-year-old toy boy. It's that I can actually really choose to be with someone that makes me roll around on the floor and belly laugh. And if that's all he had, great. And if it wasn't, and he made a shit ton of money too, great. Either way, we would be happy. As it happens, my husband is a fucking genius. So I know it's unfair, girls, because he's hot and he's a genius. He's pushed me into places that I would not have gone. And it's actually working, like really working. I completely see it. I fought him all the way and then I gave in. And now I'm doing it, and and everyone's getting on board. So my husband is a genius, and that's my perspective. You may see him as a pathetic little toy boy who's just my bitch. I don't see it like that, and thank God my husband doesn't see it like that at all. And we are absolutely what I would call a power couple. Absolutely what I would call. I mean, if you don't think that we are the definition of what a power couple is, I'm very interested to know what you think one is, because he has totally built and transformed the way I live, and I have completely molded the person he is today. So I think that is what a power couple is, because the power and the people that want to be with us right now and the places we're going, it only comes to people that people respect, that people want to be around, that people learn from. And we go into situations just as we have this weekend, also not thinking with the bee's knees. Like, we actually were telling our story about our age gap, and then there was a guy, the really successful guy there, and he was like, well, my girlfriend's 37 years younger, and he's happy as a pig in shit. Let me tell you, they were having the best time ever. So we are powerful in that we get to choose. We have the right to choose anything we want, right? Other people hate that because they have to date an older man, or they have to date a man with money, or they're tied to this life, that they can't get out of because they're not in control of it. I'm 100% in control. He is 100% in control. He lets me control everything, like, and run the house and do all that. But that doesn't mean I've, like a lot of men that take their wives' balls, right? So that the wife can never fully relax, because if he moves on, she will get nothing. The one thing that we did was give each other the power, right? I will never have, no matter what happens, that Sergio would be left because we put all our money in the pot, just because that's how it is, right? To share, that he would be left with, I would never make him feel that he would have nothing, right? So that he has to be here. That's one thing that people do to maintain power and a leash around their neck. And for what reason? I don't want him to be here because he's scared to go anywhere else, or he couldn't afford to be somewhere else. Like, what relationship is that? It's not a relationship. That is someone you bought. That is someone that's been, someone's frankly a hostage. It's not a lot of fun. And a lot of women have that life, and it's horrible. He is somebody that he doesn't spend like I spend. Like I spend crazy. He doesn't. He's just not into all this stuff. But he always goes, should I buy this? And I'm like, yes. Because I reward myself. Like I went out and bought that car, and he never rewards himself. And that's also a mindset, because he comes from, a place of having left Real Madrid, lost a lot of money, and then finding it hard because, he didn't know where his purpose was and what he was going to do. And he was working like 3 jobs before, till he found his like stride. That he comes from a bit of a scarcity mindset. And I have told him every time he makes money, every time he should go out and buy something. It doesn't have to be a Bentley, obviously, but, go buy something. Go buy those shoes. Go buy, the video camera he wants. Like, go buy the stuff you want. Because if he doesn't buy it and I'm the only one buying it, it's like I control everything again. And I do control it, don't get me wrong, because I've told you why I like to take that side of it, but then he takes the other side of it. He makes me do this. I do the spending and where it goes, and he does the savings and making sure that, there's a pot there, because I'm terrible at that. I never did that. One of my biggest mistakes, I hated saving, because I was like, the rainy days now. So he does all of that, and making sure that if, money goes to us, but then money goes aside, and then invest. And then we find more land, and we bought more land and more land. And actually our friends are super proud of us. And I'm super proud of us. And it was a complete change of mindset. The old me would have just gone to buy Chanel. The new me is buying land and apartments. So mindset and happiness literally go hand in hand. They're not always about external things. I mean, we all think this thing will make us happy. We all think that, achieving this goal will make us happy. But it's not. It's, finding contentment and happiness within yourself. I always say that your husband will never bring you happiness. He cannot bring you happiness. You must be happy, and then he can make you happier and do things with you, but you ultimately need to be happy. And there are so many women out there that are still in victim mode or sad mode or living in the past. Don't live in the past. You need to physically close a door in your head and walk forward. Always look forward. It doesn't matter if you lost something. We've all lost something, right? The one thing in life that you can't do is buy love. You can achieve any other goal, but if a guy doesn't love you, he just doesn't love you. And you need to have acceptance. Thank you for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. Don't forget to rate.